Hello again, and welcome back to Nedbank Pitch and Polish. Tonight, you're in for an exciting episode with me, your host, Khosi Khalekhi, as we reach the end of the first round of the competition. Let's get started. Round one has been quite the adventure. We've seen pitches from 14 hopeful entrepreneurs so far and have already said goodbye to 6 of our original 16 contestants, with another 2 up for elimination tonight. By the end of this episode, we'll know which 2 Blue Group contestants made it through to the second round and who'll be headed home. Before we find out what tonight's contestants will be serving up, I thought I'd remind you about our viewer prize giveaway. Honestly, at this point, I don't think you really need the reminder, but our producer tells me I have to, so here goes. Tonight, another one of you, our lucky viewers, will be walking away with a 5,000 Rand Avo Super Shop voucher from Nedbank and a strategy mentorship package, including access to Flowcode software from RaiseCorp. And if you enter, it could be you. Now let's meet our first contestant. Making his way to the microphone now is Kenneth Twala of Mandla Twala Ceramics and House Revamp, which is based in Gauteng. Good luck in there.
Hi there, Kenneth.
I'm okay.
Good. Tell us about what's on display there.
This is my Raku firing vase. It's made up of clay.
Clay.
I'm using plaster of Paris, casting mold. So this is my stuff that I've been doing since from 2001 when I left school. So even today, I'm still doing ceramics.
Okay.
Yes.
And have you prepared a pitch?
Yes, of course.
Great. Kenneth, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pitch and polish.
I'm Kenneth Mandlenkosi Twala, the manufacturer of ceramic pots and vases. My mission in this industry, I'm aiming to go to the market that is niche, supplying galleries and collectors. And then my competitors that I'm competing with are the people who are independent artists and those who are doing mass production. In this sense, as now, I'm doing so much in my current production. It's where I'm supplying only 2 shops. One, it's in Brooklyn Mall in Pretoria. One, it's in Alberton. In that sense, everyone that is buying my stuff is making sure that is buying the stuff that is out of the unique, because of I'm celebrating the Abanguni vases and heritage. So every time when I'm doing this stuff, I make sure that in my selling, when I'm out there, I'm selling under the exhibitions. As now, I've got an exhibition that is coming on the 1st of June in Cape Town, in One Spire Ceramic Exhibition. Then, as I'm here, I'm hoping that a Nedbank Pitch and Polish is going to help me to get this 650,000 so that I can buy the kiln that is going to make me to upscale my product so that I can develop and make sure that there's a staff that employ people. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenneth. Let's start this side.
Okay, I have so many questions, but let me see what is that. So you say you're going to use the 650,000 to buy a kiln, which is an oven, right?
Yeah.
How much is the oven?
It's 400,000 basically, because of there's accessories of it. It takes amount of extra of 150.
So the basic oven is 400,000.
Yeah.
And then with accessories, it's another 150.
Yeah.
So you'll use that whole 650 for that
for the
oven with the
kiln.
accessories.
Yes.
And what will that do? I mean, so just describe to me maybe like 3 things as a result of that that will change your business, or what will be the direct impact of that?
Firstly, I will make sure that I employ people, because of my aim. It's to make sure that I employ a lot of people and giving them skills and develop in my community.
Okay.
And then the second one, it's going to make me to supply internationally, as I did 2007 when I was supplying Studio Blue. Studio Blue took me to Canada. That's where I supply few shops like Terence Conran. And then thirdly, in this production of mine, I want to see myself making a big business in mass production in a rampant market.
Okay. How many products? What's your best-selling product, and how much do you sell of that product?
Yeah, my best product, it's one of a kind when I'm doing a raku firing. Most of the people that I'm supplying, especially in places like galleries, they love the stuff that it's aspirational. So every time when I'm doing my work, I make sure that I put a little bit of a sentimental value.
What's the volume? How many of those do you sell or make and sell per month or per year?
If I can tell, I make my vases by an order. I don't just do a lot. So now my item, they're becoming a selective items. Like for an example, I can make only 15 per week just to supply a certain shop. And then I sell one with 1,100 to 1,200. Then one vase, I spend 500 rand to produce.
Okay.
Right? Monique?
On the 2 shops that you're in, how do you market? How do I identify your products in those shops?
Okay, the one that I've got in Pretoria, I was at Decorex at SCC, Sentin Conventional Center. That was 2022. They discovered me there, and then the lady said, "We'll have your stuff. Can you please bring it in our shop?" That's where I started to supply them.
Yeah, but if I walk into her shop, how do I know that this was made by you and your company?
It's written underneath. We make sure, as ceramics designers, we make sure that our vases, when we make them, we sign underneath. Without asking them, if I can tell you, you'll see the finishing product that, okay, this is Kenneth, because of you've got a signature, especially in a design outside.
Okay. And how do you market this product? How do you market yourself?
I do a lot of pop-ups. For an example, in the malls, there's a mall around Mall of the South, Mall of Africa, and Springs Mall. I don't target the malls that are in a small market. I'm targeting the up niche market so that I can challenge the gallery owners and the collectors.
Did I hear you wanting to ask another question?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a follow-on, but you mentioned, if I remember well, something about the that your work celebrates Ambanguni heritage, and you also mentioned just now that your work has a signature, and I guess that has to be for someone to be a collector. So, but I just wondered if you could elaborate a little bit on, apart from the actual signature that you have underneath, how does one identify a Kenneth Twala ceramic pot or ceramic? What would be the identifiers in your...
Okay, as I try to...
That also relate to the Abanguni heritage.
Okay, let me start with Abanguni. Abanguni, as you see this one next to me, it has a blemishing spot. This concept, I took it from the skin that you see in these cows. They call it Abanguni because of their pride and their celebration of their tradition. I took it from there. So that is why all of my series, I call it Abanguni series.
Let me ask you a question, Kenneth. Do you see yourself as an artist or a social entrepreneur or an entrepreneur? Which one? Which one most describes you?
Basically now I can say I'm an entrepreneur because of now I'm moving from being a single artist that stays behind and make one of a kind. I saw that if it's gonna be only me who does this, I'm not gonna harness the skill to other people. So that is why even today I tell myself that I will make sure that I'm gonna be a businessman. I'm gonna put myself in this business. I don't want just to be an artist that is single, that is making one piece for the whole year.
But
so I need a mass
does that
product.
talk to your soul?
Yes, of course, because of the concept that is from me, it's sentimental value to me.
That's what I'm saying. To me, if you're an artist, you create this one-off piece. It's a piece of art. It's a piece of your soul. It's a piece of you.
Yeah.
When you're an entrepreneur, you want to make 1,000 of those a week. My guess is that won't talk to your soul. It might talk to your pocket, but not to your soul. But I think we've got enough now. You may leave. Thank you.
So I must say that I really do like the shape of that pot, the silhouette, and it's such a pity that he didn't bring more work, so we could have seen, the variety of his, what he's able to do.
And you can't even check it out on a website.
Yeah.
Because there's no website. So you can't see the whole range or other work that he's done.
Can somebody bring me the pot? I'd like to see the signature on the bottom, what, that key differentiator that he mentions. Thank you, Gareth.
Can you see it?
There's no signature, yeah?
What
It
are
looked like
those
a sticker.
scratchings on there? Is that
It's
not
a
a
sticker
signature?
that's been pulled off.
Yeah.
What is
No,
it
I know
like?
in the middle
Okay.
there's like that
It's
thing
a sticker.
square, and there's some scratches or whatever.
No, it's like a sticker that's been, like a price tag that's been scratched out.
So no scratching or signature at all?
There's no scratching or signature there.
No distinctive marking. Wow. He
Unless it's on
said
the
that
pot.
was his signature.
My thing is that, look, if you're selling an exclusive product, if I walk into a curio shop, how do I know that you are the artist of this exclusive piece of work? Also, if it's exclusive and it's for a niche market, am I really going to be picking up a dainty item and checking for a signature? But yeah, it's rather disappointing that in this instance I can't see what the differentiator is for this particular work of art. But if I may remove it before, thank you,
Break it.
before I break it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good story to tell there. Just didn't all stack up, eh? Okay. I still maintain he's an artist, he's not an entrepreneur. But let's go to school.
Yes, I think let's go.
Kenneth,
Yes,
how you doing?
I'm super.
How you feeling? How you feeling coming from this?
I'm feeling so astonished and happy. This is history to me. This is my first time to do this, so much. I never did something like this in my life.
But how scary was it?
My brain was almost pop out.
How'd you feel as soon as you get in there and you see all three judges looking at you? How did it feel?
Yes, I feel confidentially first when I came in there, and then I told myself, here, they're gonna hear my story. I'm not gonna hear their story.
Yeah.
That was I was telling myself.
Okay.
But along the way, okay, I fell off, but okay, I was there. I pick up myself.
Okay, so take me through that process. So when you feel yourself now,
Yeah.
you're losing momentum.
Yeah.
How did you feel then?
I feel like now I'm failing this. No, I can't fail this. I want to make sure that I'm going to pull this through. They're going to listen to me. I'm the one who made these things. It's not them. So that is why at the end I say, I'm going to tell the truth about me.
Okay, so is that where your heritage came into play?
Yes, of course, because of as I'm doing these items, these pots, I always get back to myself and say, as Mandla Twala, as a Nguni, I'm going to celebrate the Nguni culture. I'm going to associate with everything that I make with my hands by calling myself a Nguni. So what I'm doing it's what it's me.
Okay. And let's broaden that. What else is about you? Maybe being an artist,
An artist.
or a social entrepreneur. How did you feel when Alan asked you that question?
I felt like I failed him because of I was supposed to introduce myself thoroughly, that I'm coming from being an artist. Now I'm converting this art thing to a business.
So now that you didn't do that, that might work against you.
I realized after.
Kenneth, thank you so very much, and I'm wishing you all the best for the rest of the competition.
I like that he seemed to almost swagger down the red carpet. Nicely done, Kenneth. He's clearly passionate about what he does, and he's not the only one. Almost every contestant we've had on this show has spoken about their passion for their business. And I'm sure you'll agree that the first prize of a whopping 1 million rand would be life-changing for any entrepreneur. So I'd like to thank our title sponsor Nedbank and our program sponsor Raise Corp for giving these entrepreneurs the chance to realize their dreams. Now here we are at the final pitch of the first round. Meet techpreneur Cheslin Denman, who'll be pitching his business Ennoble. Over to you, Cheslin.
Hi, Cheslin.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing good, but I'm not pitching. You are. How are you feeling?
I feel like I'm a World Cup, entering the World Cup today.
And you are last pitch for this round, huh?
Yes, been anticipating, waiting to meet you guys all day long.
Okay, but you've had a lot more time to practice. So you
100%.
ready?
Yes, I am.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pitch and polish.
So my background in procurement started at SAP Ariba. I started my journey with, it led me to establishing Ennoble 5 years ago. I worked at a procurement portal called Ariba, and we managed to help over, I would say on average, about 50 SMMEs a day. And out of those SMMEs, only 10 of them actually complied to get onto the database. And so we saw that out of those databases, we managed to help them get the necessary documentation. And Ennoble, basically, we saw that 7 documents was required in order for SMEs to become compliant. And they need to manage this on a daily basis. That totality of 40 hours a month is what they need to maintain over a monthly period. So this is, I welcome you to Ennoble. Ennoble's a digital platform that enables growth to help businesses become compliant. We help businesses get the right documentation in place so they have all the necessary components so they can meet those requirements, right? In supply chain, it's very hard for businesses to actually get the right components, and we struggle to find the right documents for them. Sure.
How far were you into your pitch?
I didn't get there.
You didn't get there. Sure.
Yo.
All right, Cheslin, let me start. Okay. So are you providing software? Or are you
Yes.
providing service in addition to software? What are you providing?
It's a software platform that helps businesses get understand what's the requirements in order to meet the level of requirements in order to get access to supply chain.
So is it a checklist?
Correct, yes. A digital checklist, a pre-vetting digital checklist.
So how does that save me 40 hours a month?
Because you need to, SMEs need to maintain and check those documents on a regular basis. This is SARS, CIPC, COIDA, all your regulatory bodies. So what my system does, it integrates with these softwares and makes sure that we have the right documentation accessible and reminds the SMEs of those documents when it expires.
Okay. Over to you.
I think it's a good idea because, I'm yet to meet an SME that gets up excited in the morning to make sure their compliance is in place, but yet it's such a fundamental thing to have in your business. I noticed that you've received a lot of PO and funding, development funding. What have you used those monies towards? Is it the software creation, And how has that advanced your business? And why do you think Nedbank Pitch and Polish would be different to what you've received thus far?
So we managed to, over the last 3 years, build our B2C model for SMMEs to verify that compliance. And we're busy with the version 2 of our digital solution for procurement teams. So the money that would be allocated would be for 60% development cost, 25% would be for access to markets, getting that distribution with SARS and integrations, and about 15% of that would be allocated to marketing, sales, and administration.
How many clients are you currently servicing?
We have 3,000 SMEs on our database, and we're basically working with 1,000 SMEs that are paying us on a monthly basis.
Great, thank you.
Cheslin, how are you going to use the 650K should you win?
So the 650,000 Rand would be a lot of a development cost in terms of building the version 2 of our platform. We currently finished the UX prototype, and we actually want to launch. So the development cost is a bulk of that money. And like I said, 15% would be for access to networks. So for me to get integrations with softwares like the TransUnion, we use a third party. We want to get a direct integration. And we'd also use it for platform access. So different partners in different other regions.
I'm not. You spoke about 3,000, 1,000, and then you say to launch the product. So are you in market? You're not in market?
I'm in market, sir. We're currently trading. Our growth to date since 2021, we've been growing by 53% year on year.
And how do you get your clients?
So currently at the moment, we did a lot of marketing and got the SMEs. And what we do at the moment, we actually knock on procurement doors. So in terms of knocking on procurement, we ask them, would you like your redundant suppliers to get compliant, increasing your preferred supply list? And there, what we do is they come into our system, we help them, and then the transactional levels. So we in our subscription service, we have 70% transactional fees, how we make money. Funding is at 20%, and 10% is at our subscription service.
I just have a question. I'm sorry, I'm not a digital person at all. I don't understand these things. So my question is, will reveal that. I just want to understand the value at why would I, as an SMME, subscribe to your system? I understand you say that it's because I'm not compliant, right, with a whole range of regulatory documents. But how does subscribing to your system make it easier for me to comply? I mean, I still need a BEE certificate. I still need a SARS certificate. That means I have to submit documents to them. They have to vet it, etc. And in different businesses, different levels of compliance and quality is required. How does subscribing to your business make it easy for me to become compliant? Or easier?
Thank you for your question. I really appreciate it. So number one, you would be able to see what's the requirement to get access to, example, PPC supply chain, right? You would see the list of requirement. What are those components that's needed to get in? And then you'd be able to, we'll be able to send you a report to say, based on the documents you sent us, we see these things are missing, right? So pre-vetting. And you can click on a button to actually get that document. Remember, most SMMEs are not paying for accountants, are not paying for certain people to assist them. And that's where they're spending all that time trying to do it themselves. So we make it convenient by knowing what you need to get in order to move forward, and then also providing you with additional support on our system to get it done for you.
Can I extend on that? So you are industry specific.
Correct, ma'am.
How many industries do you?
Construction, security, insurance, and retail.
Okay.
Jason, I think you got your pitch in there anyway. I think we've heard enough for you, Madif. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I think at the end, it was really helpful for me when he explained that it was industry specific. And so they understand the requirements of the construction industry, whatever industries, and then they guide the SMMEs, and they have access to those requirements. So that's because I missed that until at the very end.
Mm.
So I think
But that should have been in the pitch. Yeah, your thoughts?
I mean, we've seen and we've experienced on our side that compliance is a big issue for SMEs. just getting it right and making sure that your documents are up to date is a challenge. I also like the fact that it is industry specific, so it's not sort of just the checklist around the basics that you're going to need. I think that is the value in his product. From a tech development perspective, development is exceptionally expensive. He has received a lot of funding for the pure development. So it sounds as though he's trying to move to MVP, which is integration. And integration comes with its own complexities. So if you're not making enough where you are right now, you're going to now sink additional costs to take this tech platform to the next level. But that's not going to necessarily translate into additional business for you. So I'm battling to understand what value it's going to add into his business, winning Pitch and Polish.
Yeah, and even when he spoke about the 15% of 650 for sales and marketing, like 1 month's salary for a salesperson, like what does that mean? I didn't get that. Sure. Okay, let's put that all down in a score sheet.
Cheslin, that sigh, just by that sigh on its own, how was that experience?
It was crazy. I was so prepared and under-delivered. I think that I stumbled. My legs were wobbling. I don't know, it's the nerves, waiting a whole day, last pitch of the day.
Yeah.
Try to come with the energy. I started spiraling in my head. But I think the questions really helped me. I think if anything saves me and I make it through to the next round, it was my deliberation on the questions that they asked, because they asked quite inquisitive questions, and I think I left them with the answer of my questions wanting a bit more. So.
And I mean, when Alon asked you, are you done with your pitch? And you're like, I haven't even gotten there. So does that mean that what you answered in the Q&A, you had incorporated into?
Very much so, but 50% of my pitch was in the Q&A.
So why don't you start with it?
I lost my words. The nerves, the cabinets, it was crazy, dude.
So when you got in there and you lost your words, tell me about that experience. Did you just start freestyling?
Yes, stuttering. And the next minute I looked up, boop, boop, it was time's up. And I was very glad that they were interested to ask me the questions. It saved me. If it does, like I said, if I make it through in the deliberation, I think how I answered the questions to what and I articulated it, that pretty much was in my pitch.
Let's talk about getting ready and getting the ticket. Your guide has gotten you ready to this point. You went into that pitching arena completely ready. What you left the judges with, what they're deliberating on, do you think that's going to send you through to the next round, or are you going to be facing elimination?
I think I might face elimination. I think my pitch wasn't good enough. I don't think I gave it not that I didn't give it my best. I think I lost my chain and my wheels off the wagon. Like I said to you in the beginning, I think that the questions that I answered might save my grace. And if I make it through, I'm damn sure going to be ready for the next round.
Cheslin, thank you so very much, and wishing you all the best for the rest of the competition.
Thank you, sir.
And that, my friends, was the last pitch of round one. Before we head off to the elimination, let's have a quick chat with the judges about the blue group's pitches. Good day to you, judges.
Good day. Feels like you're in extraction mode.
Extraction mode. Well, yeah, I'm always in extraction mode, and I know that today I think I'm going to be a little bit more lucky, correct?
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm going to start off with you, Alon. Let's talk about Phumlile. I know that with her business, she mentioned that she needs to increase her volumes in order for her business to grow. Do you think this is the right scalability approach or scaling approach?
Well, what she said was that she's got capacity for 1,000. She was only producing 200 a day, but was only doing 540 or 560 a month. The maths doesn't add up. I think her problem is sales, not production right now. So I think she's missing the point.
So if she's missing the point, could she be missing from the next round?
She could be missing from the next round.
Okay. Kenneth, let's talk about his his unique style in crafting his vases and his ceramics, what is needed, or what does he have that'll send him to the next round?
What is needed for him to go to the next round is a view that he wants to grow. And of course, in Nedbank Pitch and Polish, what will the 650 do to take him there? We're trying to understand from an investment perspective, if we invest 650,000 Rand cash, that other than employing a whole bunch of people, it will have an impact on that business. That's what we're trying to see. And if we see that, he'll move to the next round. And if we don't see that, he won't move to the next round.
Speaking of impact, Cheslin is looking to have high impact on those who are not able to access resources in order to be compliant, to grow their own businesses. Is this the kind of business that you're looking to see in the next round?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, any business that wants to make an impact and has identified correctly, you know, a need that must be filled, you know, that needs to be closed, is a business that has a good chance of going to the next round. But execution is where the rubber meets the road.
Execution, execution, execution. Well, let's talk about Ardis's execution. She produces 500 bottles or products per week. Is this the type of business that has the type of execution strategy to make it to the next round?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions that I had around her execution. You know, when you've come through a number of learning and growth development, business development type courses, you need to execute what you've learned. You can't, and you've got to take it to the next level. You can't continue sort of pouring into additional learnings that you haven't actually applied. So in her instance, I think that she needs to really look at what she's learned and apply that in the distribution of her products.
So are you sure you're not going to reveal whether Ardis makes it to the next round or not?
Absolutely, we will reveal it shortly.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Shortly, it will be revealed who will make it to the next round from the blue group. Let's go to the elimination.
Welcome, contestants. How are you all feeling? Nerve-wracking, eh? Well, you're not going to feel better after what I've got to say. I have to say that this group, the blue group, is by far the worst group that we've had in round number one. It is, there's a thematic in here which I think you all need to hear. You know, you come onto a pitching competition and other pitching competitions have a view that the better you speak, the nicer stories you tell, the better you're going to do. Nedbank Pitch and Polish is not that kind of competition. We're going to check things out. That's why when you enter, we ask you for your financials. When you enter, we ask you for a whole bunch of things which we're going to check out. And a lot of you today didn't check out. You didn't check out in your presentation. There was things that you said that when we checked weren't true. And yeah, that doesn't bode well for you. So, you know, so to me, this has honestly been a disappointing session for all of us judges. But having said that, we have to go through the process of elimination, and two of you have to go through to the next round. So in no particular order, I'm going to Pumulile. Let's start with you. So on the positive, you got an incredible energy. We loved your pitch. You spoke, you know, from the heart. We could feel your energy, and we could feel who you were. That was really, really great. And your Q&A was really fantastic. You answered the questions really, really well. And you said, I'm an entrepreneur, and we believe you're an entrepreneur. You've got what I call blue heart, that ability to stand up again and again. But coming back to things stacking up, the maths didn't stack up. All your maths didn't stack up. What you said and how you hear your numbers, and that we can do 200, 1,000, but you did 560, it doesn't make sense. And then you have to assume that I understand your industry. If you're pitching to somebody, you're not pitching to 3 people who from, who in manufacturing. We're in the space of entrepreneurship. So we've seen businesses like yours. So we're going to ask those questions. Your distribution question, I think you had an opportunity there to answer that really well. You didn't. You just said these 4. You didn't give reasons why those 4. How much was it going to cost for those to set up those 4 stands? How, what were the risks? You missed that whole thing. But having said that, you still go through to the next round. So well done. Let's go to number 2, which is Kenneth. Kenneth, I asked you a question. I asked you whether you were an artist, whether you were a social entrepreneur, whether you were an entrepreneur. You said you were an entrepreneur. So the one part about being an entrepreneur is you have to be a great storyteller. Okay? You're a great storyteller. You tell the story of your art. You told your story very well. And I love the fact that you brought your product to the pitch. But on the negative side, you can't want to win the competition, and when we ask you why, to employ 10 more people. That's a social entrepreneur. Nothing wrong with social entrepreneurship. It's a great way to live your life. But then say, I'm a social entrepreneur. But then I was confused because I really think you're an artist. And then you spoke about the fact that you sign all your art, and then we asked to see your art, and we looked up and there was no signature. So you said you sign all your art, we checked it out, no signature. Maybe that was an import from China. Who knows where you got that vase from. So we're going to check that out, and if we're an investor, expect an investor to check you out. Your story will take you so far, but just that far. Your investors are going to check that out. By this stage, 23 years in business and no website. You're an artist, you want to show your work, no website. After 23 years, 2 shops, reselling, that's what he said. I've got a shop there and a shop there in 23 years. So I'm confused whether you are an artist, whether you are a social entrepreneur, or you are an entrepreneur. I'm going to go for artists, and therefore you are eliminated. You may leave. All right, so now we're left with the last 2, which is Cheslin and Ardis. So let's go through you. Let's start in no particular order. This Ardis came up first. You spoke about your growth in the business, but when we checked out why you had grown in the business, I wrote down, I was very excited you had 10 people, but the reason you spoke about later was because you were forced to in that, which is not a good thing. You spoke about your personal connection, your personal story, and having lived in a family, a broader family system with somebody with bulimia, I understand the hell that it is, and so I want to congratulate you on getting through, and surviving that. So big congratulations to you, and bringing that through and having a connection. But then when we talk about your revenue, now on the negative side, at 35,000, 10 people, 35,000 Rand revenue, and I know you're not taking a salary, which is great. I love that. I really love that. It shows your commitment. But, after all the different programs you've been through, it doesn't make sense. Things are not stacking up. And then when we looked at your actual product, the labeling isn't right. It says 40% sugar, 32% protein. Is it RDA? It's not even labeled correctly. And so it begs the question, is anything true that you're saying? Because when one thing's not true, you question everything. Is everything true or is it not true? And so then you go back to the financials and you check the financials and it's not stacking up. So I think your journey is around actually applying. I think the sentiment amongst the judges was execution, execution, execution. You've had the opportunity to hear other people, and the question is, are you teachable? That's a question I want to ask you that question. Are you teachable, or have you got a story in your head and you're sticking to it? Okay, that's a question you've got to answer. Cheslin, on the positive, and I only have one positive for you, okay, is you're solving a big problem. There's a big problem that you're solving. The question is that, are you solving a problem that a whole bunch of other competitors are solving too? They're also solving it. So what's so different about how you're solving that problem and how your competitors are? So what's your USP, unique selling proposition? Didn't come through. It was probably of this round the worst pitch of the whole round of all 16 contestants. You had a chat with us and you were talking to us about your product. You have to understand the difference between selling pitch to buy your product and an investment pitch, which is to want to get the investment. And the real thing when we sit here, because we're not naive, is we know you just want the 650 just for more development. That's what this is about. So do we let you through or do we let you through? Who do we let through? The person who's got 40% sugar on their label, okay, and who's got 10 people with a 35,000 turnover, or do we let the person who's literally done the worst job of pitching in this first round? Who do we let through? So when we looked at your scores, actually neither of you meet the threshold. But we went back to the rules, and the rules say that one of you have to go through. So I have to let one of you through. Okay. And that person is going to be Cheslin. So Cheslin, I'm just going to say to you this. If there is no change, if there isn't what they call a Pygmalion effect, if you do not shift, okay, you will not make it through to the next round. We need to see somebody we haven't seen before in the next round. Otherwise, I'm going to get into a lot of trouble. Well done to both of you, and you may all leave and go and polish those pitches.
Well, there's no other way to put this. That was brutal. The judges aren't cutting anyone slack tonight. Congrats to Phumelile and Cheslin, who've made it to the next round. And it's farewell to Ardis and Kenneth. It's not easy saying goodbye to these contestants, but this is, after all, a competition. Which reminds me, it's time for our viewer prize giveaway. To stand a chance of bagging the 5,000 Rand Avo Super Shop voucher and the Strategy Mentorship Package, including a month's free access to Flowcode software, you'll need to answer these questions correctly. 1. What was the name of the first contestant who pitched tonight? And 2. Go online to flowcodepowered.com and let us know what color scheme has been used on the website. Then send us a WhatsApp with your name and the right answers to 066 232 7355 before midnight tonight. We'll choose a winner at random, get in touch with them, and post their name on our social media later this week. Good luck, because it could be you. With that, we've come to the end of the first round of the 2024 Nedbank Pitch and Polish competition. Next week, the pressure will go up a notch as we move on to the second round and see if our contestants have, in fact, polished their pitches as they go head to head, competing for that first prize worth $1 million. See you then. Good night.
What I would have done different is, before coming here with the product, I was supposed to have fixed the problem first. Because I knew, I was aware of the problem, I was supposed to have fixed it.
As it's my first time pitching in a platform like this, I learned a lot that basically you need to prepare yourself well and know your story and know your product very well. Don't just say you know your product just because of it's you are making it, but know it more in terms of articulating in a business sense.